everybody. Welcome back to the 86'ed podcast. This is the special of the week. I'm Jake Lawrence, and today I am joined with
Jasper Steenemeier.
And today we are going to be getting into some positive. I've gotten feedback. There's been too much negativity, and that's Jasper's fault, so I want to apologize to everybody.
Yeah, right.
Like I said, we are still looking for a new co-host. I have auditions out. You might have noticed for one of the two viewers that watched the second podcast that the editing got messed up. It wasn't a mess up. My lawyers were calling.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to cut that out.
Yeah, the replacement is all still in work because my lawyers are fighting yours right now. So
Exactly.
It's a whole thing.
It's already gone to our head.
Yeah. Very bigger than we actually are.
Exactly. The first thing we're going to get into is the gripe of the week. Did you want to start off with the gripe of the week?
Sure.
Or do you want me to? You go for it.
I can start. I have a very simple gripe, and it's something that you definitely can relate to because it's something so universal that it just pisses you off every time, but it happened to me last week. People that show up right before we close. It is the worst thing that can happen anytime. I had a two-top show up 2 minutes before we do last seating, and then they said, okay, but we have 2 more people joining us.
Oh, you did tell me about that.
Yeah, I told you about that. These 2 people showed up 10 minutes afterwards, 5 minutes before our kitchen closes, and I told them, guys, I know we just sat down, but I'm going to let you know we have only that limited time before our kitchen's done. Let's get the show on the road, right? And they're like, yeah, absolutely. They were nice about it, right? They weren't assholes about
That's good.
They ordered their food, and then they ate, ordered another round of drinks 6 minutes after the bar closed, and I had to get in a whole argument with my bartender. It was a whole thing. And then they continued to seat in their spots to where they were at a restaurant 50 minutes after we closed.
15 or 50?
50.
Oh, 50. Okay, I was going to say 15.
15 is fine, right? Yeah, but 15 minutes, and mind you, I'm closing too, so I'm doing like all my other stuff at the side. And while I have to like keep an eye out on them if they're still here, and like, there's not much you can do about it, right? There's some point you turn on the lights and you like cut the music, but still, there's people out there that just don't get the hint. Yeah,
I can't read a room. I like doing the check drop off whenever you know, because when you do that, you have to get all the food orders. So like if they want appetizers, appetizers and entrees, I would just tell them it's all coming out at once. Like kitchen closes in 5, we're cooking it all up at once. Enjoy the buffet. This is gonna be family style now.
Everybody eats everything.
And then as soon as that food hits the table, I'm dropping the check too. Like it doesn't come across as polite, but neither is their setting.
Exactly.
I agree 100%.
They definitely like closed out in time too. It's not like they were lingering waiting for the check. They were just sitting there.
Yeah.
Mind their own business.
That happens to me almost every night. Yeah. And it's always a 2-top. And it's never a 20% tip. It's always a 2-top. It's never a 20% tip, and they always stay at least an hour past close to where everybody, because it keeps the staff there, it keeps the busboys there, the dishwashers there, it keeps the server there. Depending on the restaurant, it'll keep the bartender there too. And you just like read the room, guys. So you just kind of stand there. I was told not to look into the camera when you stand here like this.
You make aggressive eye contact the entire time with them.
Yep.
And
it busts things away slowly.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, you know what? Oh, I've done it before where I'm like, oh, would you like some more water? And they're like, yeah, sure. And I just fill like a quarter away.
Yeah, that's all you get. That's all you'll need. Yep. But I would also feel very uncomfortable if I was in that position as a guest, right? And I realized that everybody else around me is closing and like
everyone's gone.
Like everybody's gone. And I'm just like sitting there. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah. It happened, dude. My restaurant, because it's got so many different not private rooms, but like it's cut off. Like you can't see the whole restaurant. I've had guests overstay, and I'm annoyed, but I also get it because they don't see. They just can't tell that the restaurant's empty. And then I've had them get up and like leave, and like I gotta like say goodbye and thank them so much for coming in and keeping me there another hour and a half. And they go, "Oh man, we're the last ones here,"
Isn't that crazy?
and they didn't even know. Like they had no idea. Like, they just can't tell. Like unless you go to the bathroom and they act like they didn't see anything. Like,
which happens too. It's like, oh no.
Nope, we're having fun, we're going to stay here.
Don't want to ruin this right now.
Where you're at, there's a bar right across the street open until 3 a.m.
What are we doing?
I know. Where I'm at, right across the street, there's a strip club. I'm like, come on, take your date over. Want to spice things up, first date, see what they're really like.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do.
Make or break right there. Yeah. How about your gripe? You got anything interesting?
I got to be honest with you, gripe of the week wise, I had a really spectacular week.
It was great.
Everybody was nice, aside from honestly, I don't even think I had anyone staying too late, especially it being like a holiday weekend. I got out at a reasonable time. It was all pretty good. I didn't have any super bad. It went way smoother than it should have. That's what that was. It was a holiday weekend. I got my butt kicked for 12-hour days, like multiple days in a row. didn't actually have a real gripe
Yeah.
of any kind. So I had to really think about it. And my gripe of the week is a little bit more abstract. My gripe of the week is how uncomfortable non-slip shoes are. That's random.
Yeah.
I know it's random.
Well, it's a gripe. Yeah.
But it is a gripe, dude. I've had non-slip shoes that after an hour, they're the Skechers or whatever. They're like, no, they're comfortable. No, they're not.
They're not.
They're not.
They're not.
You don't slip though, but they're not. They suck. You're like, I'd rather risk breaking a bone than not slipping on the floor.
The Walmart.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, the Walmart ones. Oh.
They're cheap and they don't slip, but they're not comfortable.
And not one pair of non-slip shoes that I've noticed don't fall apart within 6 months. Maximum. Like that's like if they made it 6 months, you're like, yes.
I've been seeing like commercials on the internet, on Instagram and YouTube about like specific non-slip shoes that like a small brand that makes specific shoes for the service industry. And I'm really thinking about buying them. So shout out if you see this.
They won't, but I appreciate your candor.
We tried. But those pairs are like $180.
Yeah, they're expensive.
As you said, like I never had a pair of non-slip shoes that last that long. I don't want to drop $180 on a pair of shoes that I will have like worn out in 3 months because I'm just, as you said, 12 hours on your feet, just constantly moving. Yeah,
you do 10,000 steps, and that's your base for the shift. I remember I was working at the restaurant, at my last restaurant. So this was a year or two ago, and I blew out my shoe. Like I worked a double that Saturday. I like went to take a turn, and they don't slip, so it doesn't twist like a normal shoe. Fully blew out my shoe, and then I had to work a double the next day, and I opened, and my manager was like, I was like, hey, I just blew out my shoe. Like I'll finish the shift. I don't mind like just walking carefully. I was like, but I'm not wearing these for a double tomorrow. And they're like, oh man, okay. They're like, you don't have another pair? I was like, no.
What do you mean?
Not if not slips. And I remember they're like, all right, well, they're like, just like wear a pair of shoes, just a pair of shoes tomorrow, but show us that you like at least ordered a pair. Because like by the time I had to go into work the next day and when I got off of work the night before, there was no time to like run to a store real quick and just buy a cheap pair. Just like hold me over till I got a pair I wanted. So all right, I showed up in white Air Forces. And they're like, really? They're like, really?
That's
I was like, well, they were busted. They were beat up. And I was like, well, I'm not ruining good shoes.
Fair enough.
I was like, I'm sorry. Call me crazy. But I bought the Doc Martens a few years ago. They're not slip. Yeah, they're going to totally see this.
Yeah.
But I bought the Doc Marten shoes, and those aren't as non-slip as the cheaper versions. But I've had them for 2 years. They've seen, and I wear them like outside of work too.
Yeah.
They are the most comfortable ones I've worn. But after 12 hours, no matter what you wear, I don't care. I don't care what shoe it is. It could be the On Clouds.
Yeah.
After 12 hours on your feet are sore. But those things, once you break them in, dude, they're really nice.
Solid, yeah.
They're nice. You wouldn't be able to wear them because you wear shorts to work, and you look
super silly.
You look silly. Only girls can wear boots and shorts. I don't know why that's okay, but
Honestly unfair.
it is unfair. We're going to get into that later. Also, gripe of the week, I hate the Cubs.
Yep.
Just
If you're a
got
Cubs fan, just
honestly,
shut it off.
no, don't.
Actually, no, please, still watch it.
Yeah, just subscribe anyways.
Sorry.
Just don't tell us.
Keep that to yourself.
We'll be upset nonetheless.
Yeah, that was something.
Yeah, we don't have to go to detail. My GM is a Cubs fan, and it hurt my feelings. Because then I was like, oh, did you go to the game last night? And he goes, yeah, I went to the Cubs game. Oh, that's weird, because I went to the Rays game.
It's crazy.
Last I checked, it was a home game. It's crazy. Got very upset. He looked at me funny when I said it. I said it with some venom, too. This is the first time I've ever actually caught any form of attitude speaking to him.
Yeah, got real personal.
Like, I was like, I don't know, that's weird. I went to the Rays game. Maybe we were at a different game.
Well, everybody there was a Cubs fan, but anyways, that's a different story. We digress.
What do you say we hop into the topic of the week? Let's do it. All right. So I have it broken down here. I kind of want to go into work friendships, but I want to ease it into like starting in a new job in a restaurant. So everybody has the exact same thing. We all work, and we all are new at some point. And I take that a liking to like when you're the new kid at school, because you don't know anybody, you don't know who you can trust, who you can joke with, who has the same sense of humor, and you just don't know if you're going to get reported for anything, like if you're being mischievous, or if you say the wrong thing to the wrong person, or like you're talking shit, like whether it's about a guest or about a manager or about another coworker, you don't know where those words are coming to, so you have to make sure that you're not talking shit to the wrong people. And for me, that is
It's a big one.
I have to do a lot of work on that constantly to make sure that I'm not doing that. And one of the other big things with that is working in restaurants is super cliquey.
Yeah.
You know, like there are those cliques like where it's like some of the boys or they're the boys. Like they're hanging out all the time outside of work, at work, like, and then there are the girls, exact same scenario. And you got to see if you're going to fit into any of those cliques. Or the worst thing, I guess, is if you don't fit in any of the cliques. You know, I'd rather be in the cliques with the girls than not in the clique at all, I guess. You know, like, I want friends. You're there forever, all the time.
And it's also like groups like that form too. If you're a new person, even like people that have been working together for so long, they're a clique too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they have a dynamic, both like work dynamic and also like interpersonal dynamic that you have to accustom to, and it's not easy always to get into.
And with management.
Oh yeah.
Like they have their connections, like and relationships and rapport with the management, to where they may be able to get away with a certain thing, and if you are just like watching them to like learn the new job, you could get your ass chewed because you're like, oh no, and they're like, who showed you that? And then you got to go. You don't want to rat out the people in the old clique because then you're immediately nope, you're done.
You're done. You're
so
a rat. You're
you
out.
Gotta, exactly. So you're like, oh, it just felt like the right thing to do, so I just decided to do it.
It's like a balance act, right?
Exactly.
You gotta, like, keep peace with the team and keep peace with management at the
exactly.
same time.
Yep. It's politics. Is honestly is what it is. Like you've got to be semi-decent politics in a personal way to at least like have a decent like living. Like what's that phrase? I don't know. Quality of life while at work, like your quality of work life. You know that does make a big deal. And then learning the ins and outs of managers. That's a huge one. You got to know which one you can go to when you mess up.
Yeah.
You got to know which one you got to go to with a particular guest. You got to know which one to go to if you're like, hey, I just need a discount. Like if there's one of the managers that gets easily frazzled, I'm probably just going to dodge him in general.
Yeah.
Unless I have no choice.
Last resort.
Exactly.
Talking to that manager.
Exactly. Like if you screw up, you know there's that one chill manager where he'll bust your balls. He'll give you a hard time, but that's it. You know, like they're not going to go in their office and be like, that's a write-up. Pay attention to him now. Make sure he forgot to drop a steak knife. Make sure you stare him down every single shift. You know, or like, oh, he didn't shine his silverware.
Yep. You're done.
He wasn't at his table to drop the food off.
that all sounds like silly small things, but those are like in like restaurants that are more your type.
Yeah.
Those are the things that will break your neck.
Oh,
right?
absolutely. It'll affect your shifts. It'll affect the tables you get. Like it'll affect all of it.
Plus, also
like,
the
you want to get parties too.
Yeah.
And if you mess up on a party, maybe the first time they're like, all right, well, it was your first time getting that big table.
Yeah.
Understand, like, you know, it's not hard, but it's different. Then maybe the second time, they're like, maybe this kid's not a strong server. You know, why is he working Saturday nights? Why is he working Friday nights?
Why is he working the big section?
Exactly.
Right?
Why is he getting a good section? Like he clearly, and it may not even be necessarily punishment in their eyes. It may just be like, oh, he's just not ready yet. So we'll give him the baby section.
But then what we talked about last week, like the stress part of it too, right?
Yeah.
That's what then affects you, and it's like a spiral situation if you don't catch yourself, right?
Yeah.
And that also works onto your relationships with your coworkers and your managers, because as soon as you're in that negative headspace, it's like hard to get back.
You black out,
right?
You black out essentially. No, absolutely. And trying to think of but that also how that works whenever you're trying not to get in trouble, or like if say you are a little weeded, making those friendships at work really matter, because the last thing you want to do is have to bring an issue up to a manager. You want, if you're slammed or you forget something and you're friends with and like your section buddy, like your neighbor, your section neighbor is there, you can help them out and they can help you out. So like if you are weeded and you're like, dude, these guys' desserts are coming out, their entrees just came out, and I gotta go grab drinks. Can you help me drop off the desserts here? That's faster. I'll drop the entrees off, and then I'll go run the drinks. Because you messed up your own timing when it came to ring it all in, or it wasn't in your control timing-wise. You're like, well, it happens. You know, it happens. And that's how I think friendships can go so strong working in the restaurants, because you have each other's back. You're not just in a cubicle, or it's just emails or IM messages or anything like that, or like phone calls or Zooms. Like you're there. You're both in it. You see them struggle busting. They see you struggle busting. But the worst is when you're both struggle busting, but neither one of you have time to help the other get out of their struggle busting situation. You're like, you just kind of go,
sorry, I'm right there with you.
My bad. Oh, you need some bread, dude. I need bread too. I was like, I just got sad again, and I haven't even said hi yet. I don't know what to do. It's like, I'm scared.
Help me.
But that's what forms those friendships. I mean, I don't know if we'd have became the friends we are today if we didn't. We probably would have never met.
Yeah, first of all.
In all fairness, we probably would have never met. And then if I'd have heard, oh, this guy Jasper, I'd be, oh, he's German, I'm out. Yeah. Haven't forgiven your people yet, so I don't think I would have just been friends. You know, but that's how those friendships last. You've got friends from Europe that you worked with. I mean, I don't know about Subway. I don't know what that relationships.
Oh yeah,
those relationships are like. Yeah.
Sometimes you got to
never worked on
one fajita sandwiches. There's a couple of them piling up.
Hey, listen, dude, we all trauma bond. We all trauma bond.
That's exactly it, right? Because it's a trauma bond.
Exactly.
And as you said, like your section partners, and if you don't have proper communication between like the two of you,
that's key.
That's a really important part of it, right?
Yeah.
And that's where if you can rely on somebody through good communication, that's also an important part for those friendships and those bonds. Not even friendships, but also like work relationships that you feel comfortable working like a busy night or a busy section with that person.
You can tell if you're gonna have a good night or not.
Yeah, there's people I used to work with where I said like, oh, I don't want to work a section with them. You're one of them.
That's because I would outshine you.
Yeah, sure. That's a cheese incident story for another day, though. But
no, we're not talking about any cheese, dude. No, we're not talking about any cheese. That actually, the way you said that was perfect because last night I was working in one of the rooms where it's two sections. It's 4 tables and then 3 tables. So one of the servers gets the 4 tables, but that 4th table is like a 2-top. So it's just kind of like a little here's the sprinkling of extra money. You know, like the 2-tops can be really good. So it could really sometimes you're like, oh man, got another 2-top. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna sell? Yeah. You know, like I've had 2-tops with a bill like more than once. Like I've had 2-tops with a bill higher than like a 5-top or a 6-top. I'm like, then I'm like mentally, I'm like, what is the 6-top doing? Y'all don't know how to party. What are we doing? You know how to eat?
Oh, we're
like,
just having little appetizers.
Yeah, you don't come here for that. You come here to like get the Wagyu, man. You come here we have a sommelier. You're here to get the bottle of wine that I don't know how to sell. So I go get the sommelier, and I'm like, hey, they want, and I describe what they want, and they looks at me a little disappointed, and I go, my bad.
Sorry.
I'm just a boy.
But just do your
At
job.
the end of the day, I'm just a boy. But last night, I actually had a partner the whole night. So we shared both those sections because we had bigger parties like throughout the night and like kind of at the same time. So they had his team together. So we just shared 7 tables, and like it was. I gotta be honest. I'm not gonna say her name. I'd never showed anyone at work my podcast, so she's not gonna see it anyways. But she crushed it as like a teammate, and I hope I did well too. Yeah. But at the end of the shift, usually they're pretty chaotic because like there's not quite enough communication, and it is hard sometimes because like they'll be stuck at one of the guys will be stuck at like a 15 top, and then you're handling all the other little tables while they're stuck there for 15, 20 minutes. Yeah. Answering questions, getting orders, and then of course you get everyone's order, then someone randomly goes, hey, I actually want a salad as an appetizer, and then you're like, it fucks all the timing up. Yep. And you're like, all right, well that's fine. Let me make sure I write this right seat number and don't mess any of this up because they're inevitably going to be separate checks. And our shift last night, we both looked at each other. We're like, that went pretty smooth. Yeah. Actually, that was. I was like, I had fun. She's like, I did too. And I was like, all right, cool.
Best experience of them all, right?
Yeah. I was talking smack all night. I was like, dude, we're the A-team. We're the dream team. I was like, anytime they need a team up, they need the 2 of us.
Send us.
Unstoppable. The host came over to see us again after she sat us 4-top, a 10-top, and a 5-top. And she walks in with her little iPad, and I'm like, oh. I walked in, I was like, what are we doing now? And we're not allowed to talk to the hosts, really. Really? Like, yeah, don't distract them, they're busy. Yeah, it gets mentioned regularly. And I like walked up and I was like, what are we doing? She's like, I'm going to seat you guys at 3-top here. And I went, bring it. She's like, oh, okay. I'm sure she was expecting like some like complaining or like shit talking. Yeah. And I went, dude, we're literally unstoppable. Bring it on. Just bring it. Bring another 10-top in. See if I can. I was like, I don't care. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take her order. Okay.
Make some money off.
And you know what she's going to do? She's going to run some of the food. You know what else she's going to do? She's going to get a drink order over here. Yeah. Then I'm going to drop my food over here. We're literally unstoppable. So it was really nice. Honestly, I had a lot of fun with it, and I think she did too. And me being newer than her, I was like a little worried. I was like, I don't want to be the guy, which I'm the new guy. Yeah. But I think it all worked out. And I had a call party last night too, so that helped. Like where they put the reservation. You get them all the time when I come in. It's probably the only time you get a call party. It's whenever you put the reservation
like for somebody here. I have a lot of people that request me.
Dude, you worked there for like 7 years and no one knows your name.
Yeah, right. But interesting enough, like in that context too, I trained somebody yesterday, and it was their first shift where they were like taking the lead, and I was just sitting back.
Oh, okay, yeah. You're making all the money while they did all the work.
Yeah, I mean, I paid them out, right? But it's still nice.
Oh, you paid them out?
Yeah,
that's nice of you.
Just a nice guy.
I didn't get paid out once at my job, and I even said, I was like, "So you're gonna throw me like $20 for like gas or something?" And he's like, "Well, maybe we'll see how the night goes."
Seems like
it went really well, and he didn't give me any cash. I'd still let him know. I'm like, "How was that free labor?" By the way,
how's it feel?
I was like, "You had a great trainee, you know," and they're like, they'll list one of the other ones. I'm like, damn it.
But and at the beginning, I was a bit worried because the person was like struggling with like the system and like finding things. But then we got like super slammed with big parties all around. Like everybody got a 10-top dish. And then there was this one 10-top that I saw them, I've served them before, and I know they're going to be a problem. I'm going to take them, and I'm just going to send them on their way. Like, trainee, you got all the small tables.
Yeah.
I'll check in with you. I'll stop by with you.
Yeah.
But I got to focus on them. They ordered 8 different times entrees, like all separate.
Yeah.
Multiple drink orders. Complained about weather. Complained about like a lot of things.
Well,
and
weather is up to you guys.
Yeah,
so
clearly.
That's on you.
Also, we are fully booked inside, and then we show up with a 10-top and request inside
No
seating.
reservation?
Yeah, no reservation. So anyways, but he did a really good job, like working it, and then that is also a great start for like a work bond relationship when you train somebody and I don't have time to worry about you, and I don't like.
You've got that trust,
exactly,
at least for that final training session where you're like, no, he'll be able to handle himself.
It was perfect.
On his own. That's good.
And that's like also a good start for that because that I assume for him also alleviates a lot of like the pressure and anxiety.
Oh yeah, especially like having the eyes on you.
Yeah.
Like when I had the exact same situation when I was training at this place. It was the last shift. You're supposed to take charge and like kind of handle it, and they'll just kind of be in the background. Like if there's any questions you don't know, they'll answer it for you, like to the guests, and then help you bring stuff in because it's a new POS system too. And then my trainer got slammed with a party. It was like a 12-top or something. But bottle service out the ass, like all kinds of questions. And then he got double sat in his section, and I just kind of went, hey, I'll handle all your small tables. Just fully focus on them.
Yeah.
So for one, it worked out because he trusted me enough. He's like, okay. He's like, if you need anything, just let me know. I'll help you out, like questions or whatever. I was like, perfect. And then also got the monkey off my bag. I was like, I can just serve now.
Yeah.
Because I've served tables for years.
You know how to do it.
I know how to serve a table, make sure someone's having fun, and I know how to mitigate problems from selling cars because that's all that job was mitigating problems. You give them exactly what they want, there's still an issue.
Yeah.
You know, so it turned into a great training shift. So like when I bring stuff in, I'd be like, hey, how do I bring this in, or like where is the button? Where is the button? We'll weed you. I don't know where the button is. I've been here 7 minutes. I got sat 5 minutes ago, but I'll be damned if I walk away from the screen until I find it. And it just got the monkey off my back. So I had a great training shift. No one breathing down my neck, micromanaging or anything where they're like, well, no, you should be. Well, that's not how we do it here. And I'm like, I'm going to be so rude with you guys. That's how we're going to do it now. That's how we're doing it tonight. But the way those relationships and everything, they can form real fast too, which can lead to blow-ups later on. Because sometimes you don't necessarily know them unless you hang out with them outside of work. So you can get to work them and then the real them. I like to think I'm pretty much the same on both ends. I'm a little bit more professional and polite. I'm a lot more professional and polite when I'm at work, but if the table breaks down that barrier,
we're chilling. We're having a good time.
What's up, guys?
Yeah.
I had a table making fun of my upside down pineapple, and I was like, I didn't tell him the joke because I was wearing a bow tie. I knew I couldn't get away with my upside down pineapple joke. One of these days I'll tell the viewers, but not today. It's a good joke, but they're like joking. I was like, I'm not a swinger. I was like, guys, I'm gonna be honest. I got this tattoo before I moved down here. Had no idea that was even one of the things that it meant. It has a lot of meanings. Yeah. I was like, but if you see naturally, it's down, so it's not what we think it is, you know. And I'm too shy to be a swinger. I can't do it. But there are a lot of relationships that get formed working in restaurants together, like where you start seeing flings. If you go out with your other coworkers on a Friday night after you get off of work, and then you're drinking, you're hanging out, you're having a good time, you're hitting like the downtown scene or house parties even. Like you see like real relationships formed, and then they start dating. And sometimes it works out really well. Like I've seen people that are like still dating to this day, and it's been years. Like my first restaurant job, they were both bartenders. to this day, I see them randomly from time to time, like when they're working a new job or something, but they're still together. And I know people where they met at different jobs before I met them at mine, and like it's some of the healthiest relationships I've seen, because they've built that bond where they've gone through some of the hardships, so to speak. You know, you're not getting shot at, so it's not like hardships, but in the setting, it's a tricky 4 hours, you know, and you see them have each other's back, and it's pretty cool. I don't know if my partner and I could work together. I think she'd be really annoyed with my style of work, if I'm being completely honest with you.
I can see that.
And I don't blame her. It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
But you see it work.
Yeah, but there's also like, on the other hand, first, it's really weird for people in the industry to date people outside of the industry, because schedules are so different, right? Because if you date somebody that has a 9-to-5 job, right, they get off the clock, and then you get on the clock, right? And it's just like you live a parallel life to them, and that makes it really difficult. And then, as you said already, like
and days off.
Yeah.
And days off.
Because like we have Mondays and Tuesdays off. And
that must be nice. Yeah. I'm Tuesday, Thursdays, apparently.
I'm
a double Monday, though. One of the worst doubles you could work.
I'll be at the beach, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really difficult to find time to actually spend time together. And then if you work in the industry, you're also always on a similar schedule. That makes it easier. But as you said too, like the trauma bonding, like getting an awareness for each other and how people react, and to see that they don't like lose their mind over small things that would annoy you, right? You find you get to know each other on a very different level, which can be very refreshing.
Absolutely. And it's almost like, you know how most of the time celebrities, they work in the same field, so it's not wild that they're dating each other, marrying each other. They just work in the same genre. So like they have more topics they can talk about, where they can bond over. Work schedule, I don't know. Hollywood hasn't called yet, so I don't know how the work schedule necessarily works. But those things make it to where it works. Yeah. And you're right. It's the exact same thing. Unless you're a server that works 2 jobs and you don't have a day off, then at that point, throw in the towel, buddy. You're meant to be single for life.
I've been there before.
And look at you now.
Yeah, look at me.
Yeah, dude. You're in the number 2 podcast of the world.
Yeah.
Number 2. We don't want number 1. We don't want all that smoke.
We're humble. Right?
We don't want to get canceled.
But I also seen I bet you have seen that too, like relationships that started work and then break at work, and the fallout of that.
Oh, those can be horrible.
Yeah, that's like
those can be really awkward.
Really,
you're playing with fire. You're really playing with fire.
Yeah.
Then it's got that awkward animosity the entire shift. You're like looking at your schedule. You're like, oh shit, oh shit. Are they bartending or serving tonight? Are my drinks going to take longer than they should?
What a real awkward one too is if front of the house dates back of the house.
I've rarely witnessed that.
Oh, those get nasty too. Because
I believe it.
If they get angry with each other, like for example, a cook dates a server or hostess. Yeah. And then it gets really crazy because the cook gets mad.
I've never witnessed that.
Ring anything in, and then that just causes problems, and that just backs up the kitchen, and it's like an avalanche, right?
Oh no, dude, it's a war. It's front of house versus back of house. We all must live in harmony. Where's the avatar?
But it gets really messy because it involves the entire restaurant all of a sudden. Yeah. And I've seen plenty of occasions where that led to people getting fired about just dating.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest, aside from when we work together, all of the other restaurants, none of them spoke English. They all speak Spanish. So rarely do I run into that happening unless they both speak English or Spanish. But I really haven't witnessed that. That's wild.
Yeah, I've seen that before.
That is wild. Oh, this one was fun. I wrote this down. The classic manager dating a host or server. That never ends well.
No.
And it's not allowed, but it's always happening. It's always happening. And I don't know why. I swear, I said server just to be inclusive. I swear, it's damn near always a host. Always a host. I don't get it. Maybe because they both work part-time jobs.
They're both there for 10 hours.
Yeah.
They have a lot of time to chit-chat.
They do. There's a lot of standing around. They're like, no, we're touching tables. I'm like, that's cool. I've touched that same table 7 times. One time was inappropriate. But they liked it.
Another thing I wanted to talk about is how work friendships either last, but a lot of them also don't.
They fizzle.
They fizzle, right? Because your friendship is built on being together at the same spot.
Yeah.
Days and days and days on end, right? But if somebody leaves the job or gets fired, I've seen it in a lot of like friendships that they just fizzle, as you say, right?
Yeah.
They don't have the interaction again, and just that relationship's not intact anymore because it's not on the same base that it was founded on.
It's not the same.
Yeah. Yep. And I've seen it a lot too, that people that get fired, that like people that are still on the job will just like almost ghost them, like they don't exist. Which is a really sad thing, right? Because it's like an infuriating time for the person that gets fired or leaves, right?
Yeah, they're like, what the hell?
Yeah, and then you get extra isolated, right?
Yeah.
It's not easy.
You know me, I don't let that slide.
Yeah.
I don't let that slide. You're not getting rid of me.
No.
I'm so sorry.
Right now.
I know, dude. I know. We might have a guy in the chair. I worked with him 3 years ago. We might have a guy in the chair. I don't know. He had a lot of constructive notes and also ways to fix it. That was very nice of him.
Actually good.
Yeah, that was very helpful. But I think we nailed that topic.
Mm-hmm.
Did you look up any negative reviews?
Yes, I did.
Okay, good. I didn't.
Wow, unbelievable. So
I had too much positivity coming into this.
Had a good time.
Yeah, I had a great week. My butt got kicked. I made money, but everyone was nice. So I didn't have anything.
I just like picked out some here.
Can you read all that?
Yeah,
That's a lot of words.
That's a lot, but I'll summarize it.
Is it in German?
I can read it in German if you want me to.
No, it's okay. I don't want to lose
I'll make it
viewers.
happen.
No, I don't think our viewers have
You
forgiven
gotta
me.
expand, the fan base.
No, I don't know. Actually, yeah, we got some good Germans out there.
Yeah, we do.
I know like 3 of them. Oh, 4 of them.
4.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you're 5. You're the 5th one on the ranking.
Full
though.
right there.
You're the ranking though. You're 5.
Not those rankings again.
Yep.
Call your sister right now. Anyways, this one complains about a restaurant that I really like. That is always closed Mondays, Tuesdays, so I can barely go there. But this table of 8 is complaining that they got fussed at for ordering at the bar while having a table, drinks at the bar, which is also another gripe for another time. But it's also the
I
concept.
didn't even think of that. Yeah.
It's like they complained about that they were seated and then just got up and like harassed the bar because also they take up spots at the bar that the bartenders need to make their own money and then you have just people lingering around, right, taking up those spots.
And it's not a good look for the server in management's eyes. They're like, what are you doing?
They then also complained that they didn't get any service afterwards, which is nonsense, and then they had to go up and get somebody. But it's what I wanted to talk about was that whole concept of like.
Or did they piss off the server and they're like, all right, fine,
probably
go to the bar.
Yep.
Whatever.
See if I care.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll just go do better service to my other tables.
Yeah.
Whatever. They're gonna pay me. You're granted. Money's already there.
Oh, this one's good too. I got this one and another one. This one talks about how this lady went to the sandwich store around the corner, actually, from here. And, she got mocked by the lady working the counter and had like the eyes rolled at her for what she ordered and the questions she asked. It's like something you as a server want to do so bad. Like when you order something on the menu and it's like, okay, this is like a perfect way to get it. Like,
dude, that's funny.
You can customize it. For example, like you get a steak and he's like, oh yeah, medium rare would be perfect. Or like you get a fish pepperoni that way. Or you get the sandwich that sounds really good, and then people change something up that sounds really good in your brain, and they do like complete opposite to it, and you're like, buddy, that was real stupid of you. You're wasting your money here.
Good job. You just ruined the sandwich. Don't leave a bad review saying the sandwich sucks because you changed it up.
That's just so good. It's like, but you got to keep that, keep that mask on. You got to focus on like not showing that. But it's like,
oh man,
rolled her eyes like 3 times too.
This server is my hero. Yep. That's so funny.
When I grow up, I want to be like that.
The amount of times I've caught myself, just, all right, cool.
Yeah, that sounds great.
My favorite is someone gets a prime rib, and they're like, yeah, can I get that medium well? And I'll just be like, no. They're like, why?
That should be
like, because it's slow roasted. Yeah. Like, you could get a medium well tomorrow.
8 hours.
And you're going to hate it, because it's just going to be, like, jerky.
Yeah.
I was like, and they're like, no, I get it like this all the time. And I just want to be like, where? Or did they lie? Or did they just pop it on the grill real quick to make it less pink? Like what?
When you cut it open, it's still going to be pink.
Yeah. I'm like, what are we doing here? I was like, no, if you want heavily marbled but medium well, get like a ribeye or something. Or like if you want medium, get like a New York strip where it's like right in the middle or something. I'm like, you don't want that. That's gonna suck. Yeah. It's horrible. That's gonna suck.
So the last one is from the first restaurant we talked about the bar, same place.
Oh, okay.
And this is a back-to-back, 2 different people. 1-star review, they no longer do carry out. And then the other one is, can't take orders over the phone.
It's pretty messed up, dude.
Honestly, I didn't read the last one. Your food didn't taste right. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Can we get some descriptors so we can fix it?
Give me some.
Didn't taste right. That's good.
But it's like, also like, why are you leaving a 1-star review about like?
Yeah, you're dramatic.
People are so dramatic.
They are, dude. I mean, look at us. We're dramatic too.
Yep.
You're more dramatic than I am, though.
I'm Germanic. It's different.
Yeah, that's true. Just in case anyone wonders if Jasper's cranky, I call him my little sauerkraut.
Always brings me in a better mood for like 2 seconds, and then I go back to
then he goes.
But it's also my resting German face. Like it's not
true. It's just my resting German face.
It's just
RGF.
One of my owners once told me, that's like 2.5 years ago. It's like Jasper has the best quality of like switching faces. You see him run around the restaurant with like the biggest pouty and grumpy face.
Yeah.
And then when I walk up to the table, I'm like, "Hey guys, how we doing?"
Yeah.
It's like immediately switch it up. It's
yeah.
a very German thing.
I must have some German in me because I've actually gotten that same reaction where I'm like, yeah, turn around. How do you do that? They think I'm a sociopath. I'm like, no, I'm just miserable today.
Yeah.
My head hurts.
I feel horrible on the inside.
Yep.
I feel great on the outside.
I'm hungry. I've been serving food for the last 6 hours and I'm hungry.
Yeah,
and my meal isn't going to be nearly as good as this one that I'm serving right now. So I'm upset.
I'm really looking forward to my ramen noodles, but I'm not happy about it.
My ground beef and ramen, dude. What a throwback. Ooh. All right, I think that kind of covers everything we wanted to talk about today. Good job, Jasper. It was a pleasure doing a podcast with you. As always. So, I mean, it does give you good standing for the auditions.
Yeah.
So you needed this, buddy.
Our lawyers are very happy to see this.
I have it written down. I'm taking notes, just like the managers that are busy all the time.
Cards.
Yep. I've got my own reviews on you, buddy.
It's gonna be episode 10. We're gonna do a flashback of the reviews on the episodes.
So we're gonna have the same amount of views, 7. All right. I think that does it. All right, everybody, you're cut off. Thank you so much for listening. Oh, I guess subscribe, then you're cut off. All right, bye.